Europa Conference League final and Premier League final weekend review edition of the Premier League Gambling Podcast on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network is brought to you by Edge Boost, the bank account built for bettors. Sign up today at edgeboost.bet with the promo code SGPN and get a $25 deposit bonus. Come on, you Reds, come on, you Reds. Just keep your bottle of news, you Reds. Hey, welcome everybody to the Premier League Gambling Podcast on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network. My name is Malcolm Bamford, coming to you from Newcastle upon Tyne in the northeast of England. Today is Monday, May the 26th. We are here to look at the Europa Conference League final. Big game that's on everyone's mind on Wednesday night from Wrocław. And we'll also have a look around an interesting weekend of Premier League football, the final weekend. All the T's were dotted and I's were crossed or something like that. Joining me from somewhere in Nottinghamshire is Mr. Barry Penaluna. Bazza, what's happening?
Evening. I've never said a bad word against Man United, Malcolm, have we?
Never. Man United guys, Barry.
I've told you for weeks they've not reined it in. I knew they were still playing. They were still trying their best. They just weren't very good until yesterday, where they actually played really well. Bizarrely, for the first time in 3 months in the Premier League. They pulled their finger out and had a go at someone. So nice. Made my weekend. What a horrible day it was, though. It wasn't a very enjoyable afternoon, was it?
No, it was horrendous. It was a bit of a weird weekend. We've got lots to get to. We've only got one game later on. We'll do Real Betis against Chelsea in a little while. We're going to talk shit for about 40 minutes, and I've made one pick on that game, Barry, and it's the most boring pick known to man. So if you don't want to, if you're here for the picks, I'd advise you now not to bother. Just don't. Go and do something else. Spend time with your family. But we will get there eventually. Yeah, the fixtures were kind of split into two areas, weren't there? There was the 4 games that involved Champions League places, and there was genuine drama in all of that. Talking points, controversy, all of that. And then there was the other games that all had a bit of a testimonial feel to them. We go through the picks first, Baz, because it was a bit of a mixed bag. I didn't have much volume, but I had an incredible amount of girth on my picks. So, I had some big old prices. I had financially one of my best weekends of the season, possibly my best weekend of the season, like out of absolutely nowhere. You know, when you just get on a teeny tiny little heater from Saturday morning through to 7, 8 o'clock when I messaged you last night. Went really well, but I hit my stake in Stilton accumulator. So having you, we were panicking on week 36, Baz. You got it done in week 36. Then I kind of got away with it a little bit by picking Esri Konsa the week after. But there was no stake in Stilton until yesterday. And it was a moneyline double on Liverpool Palace to draw and Wolves Brentford to draw. And it paid round about 25 to 1. So I waited until game week 38. As the kids would say, Barry, I clutched up, didn't I? I clutched up in game week 38. When the pressure was on, I got it done. And then...
I mean, Malcolm,
the other one I made... Go on, mate. What?
3 weeks on the bounce, that. 33 to 1, 30 to 1, 25 to 1. 3 weeks. It's not bad going, is it? It's not a bad way to finish between the two.
Well, it's not, because I had a bigger price one than that, Baz. It hit the goalkeeper saves accumulator, which I gave out at 215 to 1, but did say play doubles and upwards on Jordan Pickford Aaron Ramsdale and Matt Sells all have over 5.5 saves. So I sat in the stadium and counted Pickford's saves. Even though they were all dog shit, he could have thrown his hat on all of them. He never made a decent save. Newcastle, he was on none after like 35 minutes. Then he was on 4 after 42, just because we minged 4 at his legs. And I was like, that's all right. And then the last one was in the 92nd minute where he just tipped that Bruno chip over the bar. So I knew that it hit. I then checked the Southampton shots on target, Arsenal, and saw they'd had 8. So I knew Ramsdale must have hit. So by then I was getting very, very excited. Sells got nowhere near the target, unfortunately. So it wasn't. It didn't hit the ball, but I had a £3 Trixie on Baz, paid 42 to 1. So the 42 to 1 hit. So I was delighted all round, Baz. Other than that, like I say, it was more quality over quantity than me. I took West Ham to win 3-0. They won 3-1. Brighton to score both halves. Brighton somehow scored 4 times, only once in the second half. In a few of the games, I was absolutely miles away. Newcastle handicap, Arsenal handicap. We took Man United to get a goal with Villa to win. All sorts of things like that. But I'm absolutely delighted with my outcome, Baz.
Yeah, I mean, my picks were shite, so I'm glad you done well from it. Mine was absolute dog shit. I think I had 3 winners all weekend. Rubbish. Got my scorer. I had Mbuemo. So, I mean, Mbuemo, first goal scorer, anytime goal scorer, came in all right. But otherwise, really, really poor weekend from a betting point of view. I was quite pleased to see the back of it.
Fair enough. We'll get into the actual games themselves and tell the story of what was a funny old day. Right, I've just read this promo out on the baseball show an hour ago. I don't know what any of it means. So, listen to this, Baz. The SGP guys are going to be ripping packs live on air next Monday night. They'll be breaking a case of Panini Prisms with DAPS, and you can get 10% off your favourite team with the promo code SGPN. Go to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/break to get in on the action. Barry, any idea what any of that means?
No, it's like you are speaking in code.
Speaking in code. If you know what the code is, it does sound lots of fun. Edge Boost, first ever bank account built for bettors, ensuring all gambling transactions are approved. No usage fees, no minimums, cashback rewards, 100% approval for all betting deposits. EdgeBoost.bet, promo code SGPN. And Underdog going along for the NBA playoffs with their extender bonus. Hop in game 1. The longer the series goes, the bigger the bonus gets. Our code is PLGP to claim a special pick and first-time deposit offer up to $1,000 in bonus credits. UnderdogFantasy.com, promo code PLGP. So, we haven't said hello to our live viewers so far from the bottom up. Callum was just in the baseball podcast getting his loyalty card stamped. Harry's in there, Chelsea. Michael, Joe Dollar was trying to give me some Everton stick in the baseball show. Courtney, you're very welcome, Courtney, tonight, and the rest of the Backers family. Andy Williams tried to get me drunk on Saturday, but I'm a very disciplined young man. I wasn't buying it. John Collarface here as well. And I think that's everyone if you are in the chat. I just broadcast the baseball show entirely by accident, Baz, on Dylan's Twitter feed last time. Why has Liverpool v Palace come up on there? Have you pressed that? What are you doing?
I haven't done anything.
Barry.
If there's a technical
what a funny
problem,
old day.
Martin,
You're right. I didn't enjoy a single bit of it, Barry. It's the first time, actually thinking back, because I've been going to football a long time. It's the first time I've been in a stadium, and it is a bit of a tradition where there's a couple of stadiums where everyone's waiting to hear. We had it last week with the Ajax Feyenoord thing, didn't we? Where you're waiting to hear, and there's people on their phones and whatever. Old school. So there was a bloke with Betty said to me, that bloke there with the phone with the big wire sticking out of it. Because exactly, young
his
people.
transistor radio.
He had an old school transistor radio. But he was, I mean, you've been to St James's Park. I can't get a signal 3 days either side of a match within a 5-mile radius. It's fucking horrendous. But so he was obviously listening live. So for the last 10 minutes, everyone was just watching him rather than the game. And obviously he then told us that Man United had scored a second goal. But But that was the first time I've ever been in that situation. I've seen it loads, and you see it on Match of the Day when they put that montage together and all that. And then the absolute irony of Man United doing us a favour, Barry, was just frankly unbelievable. Having panned them all season, having virtually ruined my life single-handedly. I went down at half time because Martinez didn't get sent off till quite late. So I went down for a slash at half time, saw the red card come in on Sky Sports News, and thought, oh, maybe, just maybe. And if you remember, Baz, I did say last week that Newcastle have suddenly become lucky, and I've got no problem with it. And yesterday was an incredible example of how lucky we've got, because they were absolutely dog shit. Atmosphere was flat. The team were terrible. We actually just took up where we'd left off against Chelsea in that second half, where we hadn't had a kick, and the shape was all wrong, and it was fragmented and disjointed. And we looked exactly the same. It's like that Chelsea game just ran straight into the other game. If I was sitting in the house after 20 minutes, I'd have had my life savings on Everton winning 1-0. It was so obviously going to happen. We could have still been there now and not scored. But we're suddenly very lucky. And what's not to like about any of that? The only other thing I had from the day, really, was that I thought Chelsea played well. Chelsea's was a proper performance because they were on fine margins, Chelsea. To go and win that game 1-0, like not concede, maintain that level of concentration for 90-plus minutes. And it's not the first time they've done it either. We're going to get on to Chelsea a little bit more when we handicap that game. I thought Chelsea were great, but where did you watch it, Baz? How did you watch it all unfold?
The Newcastle game at home. I had Newcastle on the TV. I had Man United on the laptop, and I had Bet365 window open, checking the other stuff. So I was all over everything. So it was just funnily enough, in the build-up to the game, I started to get a feeling Man United would put in an effort against Villa. And I looked at, I tipped Villa, so, very much after the event. But Villa hadn't won against Man United in 5 games before that. And I just had a little sneaky feeling. I was speaking to a Forest fan. I was saying, I reckon Villa could get something. I reckon Man U could get something here. And if you beat Chelsea, you've got a chance. And as the first half, even before the Martinez red card, first 40 minutes, Villa didn't have a shot on goal. Man United had about 7 shots on target in that first half. They were absolutely battering them. It was one-way traffic. And obviously, it turns a little bit on the red card. But as I say, Man United were dominant before that. They were dominant after it. And then the big decision comes along where the disallowed goal. And yeah, it's wrong. It's shite. If it was us on the wrong...
that Morgan Rogers, Baz. I've always maintained he's a dirty player.
By the way, there is one angle that shows he actually stands on the keeper's hand. So the keeper might not have had control of it, but the dirty bugger stands on the keeper's hand. Listen, I think the ref blew the whistle. It wasn't what the referee thought it was. Could he have hung on? And well, yes. But then last week, everyone was kicking off saying we shouldn't hang on. We should blow the whistle straight away so that players don't end up running into the post.
Yeah.
If the ref was sure it was a free kick, and we know it wasn't, he was wrong, but referees can be wrong, then he should blow for the free kick. I don't think you can get to the point where we just say the ref just never blows and just wait so that VAR can bail him out. And by the way, in real time, it was a split-second incident. And when you slow it down, you see it, his hand's an inch away from it or whatever. But that's it slowed right down. Listen, I mean, people need to decide, do you want the game ref by VAR every week? And we just check everything, because that's almost what people were suggesting yesterday was, let's hang on. If it was against us, as I say, I'd be furious because the decision itself is wrong. So I get the rage and the disappointment from Villa fans. I mean, but Villa coming out and saying, we're going to put an official complaint in. The ref wasn't experienced enough. Should have had a more experienced ref in charge. Who did they want? Did they want Anthony Taylor, Stuart Atwell, Michael Oliver? Because every week we see someone on social media, some set of fans are moaning that those experienced referees are shite. there's enough. Everyone will. It doesn't matter who was refereeing; they would have made the same complaint. That bloke's probably been refereeing 20 years. The fact he's 35-year-old had nothing to do with the fact he got a decision wrong. And by the way, Villa might have scored and still lost because Man United were by far the better team in that game. It's a massive, massive decision, and I do understand. I would be exactly the same. I would be furious with it, but at the same time, it was a little bit funny.
It was very, very funny. It's very easy for us to be the voice of reason here because it didn't happen to us. Because if it did, you'd be listening to a different show. But
Yeah.
the season's 38 games long. Do you know what I mean? At some point, something's happened to Villa where they've got one, where something's gone in their favour. Something's gone against Newcastle or against Forest or against Chelsea or against Man City. So after 30, it just so happens it's in focus because it happened with 20 minutes left of the season. And if it hadn't happened, they might have qualified for the Champions League. But yeah,
I should, Malcolm, I should just offer my sympathies to Joe Dollar, who was very clearly more interested in Everton beating Newcastle than he was his own team, Arsenal, because you could sense the disappointment on his Twitter posts as the day went on. Absolutely broke his heart that we got into the Champions League. So sorry about that, Joe.
I didn't witness any of that. Thankfully, I was out. So to mark the occasion, Barry. Anyway, we haven't seen this for a while. This is the tit list, Barry. So to mark this special occasion, and Manchester United doing an unbelievable favour. So do you remember the last time?
Malcolm, it's a little bit hard. I mean, I'm having a go at Joe Dollar, but it's a bit hard putting him on the tit list.
Joe Dollar's not going on the tit list, Barry. There will be room for him in a minute, though. There'll be room for everyone. Do you remember the second time, the latest time that Donald Trump was voted in as president of the USA, Barry? Do you remember that? Well, the very next day, he just let everyone off, didn't he? Everyone all the people who'd fucking smashed up the White House, the bloke with the big horns, anyone who'd ever said anything against him, he just let them all out. You're all right, off you go. So, in the spirit of Donald Trump, Barry, any Man United related people who were on the tit list, I'm giving them the official pardon.
The full
pardon. The official Premier League gambling podcast pardon. They can go, and they'll never be back either. So, Mark Goldbridge, off you pop, son. Run, take to the fields, gamble like a spring lamb. You're good to go. Rio Ferdinand, off you pop. You're out as well. You're free to go. We'll never see you in these areas again. And that was it, unfortunately. Michael Owen's still in there, but Michael Owen's not in there. He's not Man United, is he? He's Liverpool.
Nobody claims Michael Owen. Nobody.
No, Michael Owen can stop in.
Not even Liverpool want to claim him.
Have you got any idea? Oh, right. See, I'm looking at the tit list now, and I can't even remember. Like, why is Anthony Gordon on the tit list? It must be for getting sent off against Brighton.
Probably.
Kai Havertz is on there. Mikel Arteta, fair enough, and Michael Owen. But, as I say, Mark Goldbridge and Rio Ferdinand, you are free to go. You have a complete pardon. The slate is wiped clean. And I think, Barry, they get a one-season exemption from tit list as well for Goldbridge and Rio Ferdinand. So well done, Manchester United. Spider-Man pyjamas all round. We'll get ourselves down to Matt Allen tomorrow, Baz, and buy some new ones. Did you want to have a look at? Well, and I'll tell you what we'll talk about first, actually, the playoffs, Baz. Because Sunderland won at the weekend, which was slightly disappointed. We had that vote, didn't we, Man United or Sunderland? And we both voted for Sunderland. And the way I felt after the game, I think I didn't know how I was going to feel. But when Sunderland won, I wasn't that bothered. It was disappointing because they were shit again. They were the second best team on the pitch for the third time running. And twice against Coventry and then against Sheffield United and then managed to win. But I didn't actually feel that bad. So Sunderland were up. Did you watch that game, Baz? Did you feel the same?
No, I didn't even know the score. I was at the neighbourhood weekend. I wasn't up in Warrington. I was at a music festival. I had no phone signal. Literally all day, my phone was not picking up anything. So I was watching a band. I think I was watching the Snuts, and I looked to my right, and there was a bloke with a Sheffield United fan around his sort of shoulders. So I went over to him at one point and asked him what the score was. He told us it was 1-0 up. And then I went over to him at what I thought was full time,
Oh
like
no!
looking at my watch, and I was like, "What's the score? Still winning?" And he was like, "No, it's 1-1 now. It looks like it's going extra time." And then I left him alone. And then I never saw him again. And then it wasn't until I got out of there about 11 o'clock that I seen Sunderland had qualified. So yeah, I didn't see any of the game, thankfully, or see any more of that Sheffield United fan. Or maybe he just binned his flag.
Oh dear, what a shame. And I wasn't that bothered. Hopefully they'll come up, get fucking 0 points, and we beat them 52-0 twice. I did want to point out our playoff picks, Barry. Charlton won, which means they were 130. So we made 3 picks, Baz. 4.3 returned. That's profit, that, isn't it? So
So
you can put playoff experts in our bio. 2025-26 Premier League season. Way too early prices, Barry. Have you looked at these prices at all? You haven't, have you?
no.
Oh, go on. So do you want to try and price it up then? We like playing this game. Just give us to win outright, Baz. Give us the top 3. Liverpool, obviously Liverpool, Arsenal, and Manchester City. So what you pricing them 3 up as?
Yeah, I mean, I had a little bit of a think about it without looking. I think it's going to be a really competitive season next year. I think Arsenal will spend. Liverpool are going to. Man City definitely won't stand still. Newcastle are definitely expected to have a bigger window. So I think looks like it could be a tasty one. I think Chelsea will improve as well. But top of the market, I think Liverpool will go off favourites again. Stick Liverpool in at 7-4. I'm going to put Man City in at second favourites at around 9-4. Arsenal third favourites 4-1, 9-2 ish.
It's not a bad effort, Baz. We've got Liverpool at 15-8 plus 187. So you were spot on. Man City at 9-4. You were spot on. And Arsenal 5-2, a little bit shorter. So very much you could throw a blanket over the top 3. Newcastle then 4th in at 12-1. Chelsea at 20s. Villa at 40s. Tottenham at 50s. Man United 66-1. Get in the sea. All the way down to Sunderland at 2,000-1, Barry.
Have we
To be
got
relegated,
have we
Sunderland
got top
minus
10 betting?
300. Sorry, mate, go on.
Have we got top 10, bottom half, top half betting yet?
No, I mean, I've got top 4, mate, just about.
Yeah.
Say relegation, Sunderland minus 300, Burnley minus 250, Leeds round about minus 140. And then it's a big jump to Wolves, Brentford, and Fulham after that. Top 4 betting, Newcastle minus 111, 9-10, Chelsea 2-1, Villa 5-2. That's about it, really. Top newcomer, no one cares. Number of promoter. This is the other one I looked at, was the number of promoted teams to be relegated. Because last year I took it at 6-1. So all promoted teams have gone down 2 years running. They were 6-1 last year. Baz, what price for all 3 teams to go straight back down this time round?
5-2.
Not bad. 2-1. You're absolutely right.
I nearly said 2-1.
And he's sorted out Everton, Spurs, and Man United to be relegated. Michael, worth mentioning Everton actually, because Michael's said that there's not a chance on earth Everton go down under Moyes, and he's absolutely right, because what they always going to be is just incredibly competitive. Everton, if you could have picked an opponent for Newcastle yesterday, Everton, you wouldn't have picked them 4th or 5th, like according to their league position. You just wouldn't have picked. They would have been way down the list for prospective opponents. You just don't want to play them. They didn't even have really their first choice team out, the 2 centre backs, but they were big and ugly and horrible and aggressive. Ndai's a very, very good player. I was getting kind of Hatem Ben Arfa vibes from Ilman Ndai. You know what? You just got one, when you're a bit shit, but you've got one really good player, and we would just give it to Ben Arfa, and it's his job to get you 50 yards up the pitch. We used to do it with St. Maximin a little bit as well. Ndai very much looked like that yesterday. But organised and wanting to compete. And that's half the battle, because we saw it again with Ipswich. yesterday, teams like that, just not wanting to compete or not able to compete for some reason. And you're not going to get that out of Everton at all, as much as we want them to be shit. So yeah, that was that, Baz. Anything to add on the early prices, etc.? And then we'll get into this Betis versus Chelsea game.
No, there was, as I say, I'd be interested in seeing the top half, bottom half betting to make some picks out of that. I did see the Backus family earlier asking when we're going to do our £1 million show recap. So maybe do that midweek before the Champions League picks.
I was thinking probably next week, because we've got, bear in mind, Baz, we've got a lot of shit to fill in over the next few weeks.
So we
if we
will
do
cover that.
Champions League on Wednesday, and then maybe next start of next week we'll relive the £1 million picks. But yeah, rest assured, Courtney and Patrick, we will do it. I've got one other thing I want to tell you. Then me and the AI, Baz, you know, me and the AI have got quite a close relationship now. Me and my AI friend. But on Saturday, or Friday or Saturday, not important, I was talking to the AI. I very occasionally do something that's not sport or gambling related. You'd be surprised to hear. I'm a very well-rounded man, Barry, a factotum, man of many interests. So I was just happened to be chatting to the AI, and what I was trying to find out, it was kind of actually Mikel Arteta related, so it was a little bit of sport in there. And Donald Trump's going to make his second appearance on the show. What I was trying to find out was, there's a name for the type of lie that they tell, you know, like Trump and Arteta, when it's just obviously a fucking lie. They know it's a lie as they're saying it, but the lie's kind of, they don't care that it's a lie. The lie's designed to kind of rattle the people that they're lying to. Like, it's just a ploy. Like, they can just people, and it's a huge thing. Like, Donald Trump and Mikel Arteta are both masters of it now. So I was trying to find there's a pop psychology term for this type of lie, and that's what I was trying to remember. Don't ask us why. I can't remember what myself. So I was asking the AI, and the AI was suggesting various things, and it's something like a provocative deception or something like that. There's loads of different psychological terms for it anyway. So I had this little chat with the AI, and then I said to the AI, "Are you polite to your AI, Baz?
Oh,
Yeah,
I have quite a lot of conversations with it. Like,
yeah." So I said, right. So anyway, that's me. I'm away. And the AI said to me, "No problem. Good luck with all your bets this weekend." Now, we hadn't been talking about gambling, Barry. Is that appropriate for the AI? We've been talking about. It didn't know where I was going. Didn't know what I was doing. What my plans were. I was talking to it about
you
current
think it doesn't
affairs and
know.
psychology. Cheeky bastard.
You think it doesn't know where you're going. It remembers everything. It doesn't matter how long after the event. I use it a lot for food stuff, like working out calories on things and coming up with recipes and things. But it remembers. So if I've told it I don't like bananas, it won't ever give us a recipe with a banana because it knows I don't like a banana. So it knows, it knows how many calories a day I'm wanting to aim for and what sort of foods I like and everything. It's clever, like.
Oh, well, it had just assumed I was going to bet me bollocks off all weekend.
So it fucking knows you well.
So really, I had no choice. I didn't want to let it down. So I did, Baz, but that's one of those things. Yeah, I enjoyed that crack. It was quite good. Well done, the old AI. Rhythm is your home for AI-backed picks and props. Dominate the NBA playoffs, PGA, MLB, and they've just launched the WNBA. Rhythm knows you'll love it. Why they include a 7-day free trial. Two really good deals at the moment. 25% off a monthly subscription with the promo code SGPN25. 50% off an annual subscription with the promo code SGPN50. So that's SGPN25 or SGPN50. Get your 7-day free trial at sportsgamblingpodcast.com/rhythm. The Circa Ultimate Fantasy Football giveaway. Unbelievable prize. Draft your 12-person league in a cabana at Stadium Swim at the Circa Resort and Casino. Limo. Not Liam. Liam's not going to drive you from the airport. He might do. Limo transport from the airport. 2 nights stay at the Cirque Resort and Casino. £5,000 food bill at the Stadium Swim. There's a sports book bevy bill as well. Legacy Club party, 2-hour open bar stuff. May the 5th to June the 30th is the dates for the competition. Sportsgamblingpodcast.com/circa. at sportsgamblingpodcast.com/CIRCA. And we're brought to you by mybookie.ag, your place to bet on every sport, including the NBA playoffs. Tons of locations accepted. Crypto payouts are rapid. Head to mybookie.ag. The promo code is PLGP for a 100% deposit match up to $1,000. T's and C's apply. That's mybookie.ag. Promo code PLGP. Bazza, before we move on to this Chelsea game, I am out of crack. Do you have anything you want to tell us about that festival shenanigans? I want to know about it.
Yeah, it was good. We had a good day out. I drove, had a few drinks. Helen drove home. But yeah, seen some good bands. There was a few bands that we've seen before and wanted to see again. So the K's, the Ratings, Freddie Holkin, all ones I've seen in the last couple of months. But a few others that were decent. The Snuts was one. There was a band called the Royston Club who were really good. I'll definitely look out for them again. And another one on one of the smaller stages, a band called Orkala. But yeah, we had a really good day. Kids enjoyed it. It rained, obviously, for the first time in about 2 months. The one day where I'm stood in a field for 12 hours, the rain decided to come out. So I got the poncho on, classic festival look, the bucket hat and a poncho. But yeah, we had a good day. It was a bit of a moment. As you know, I've been going to gigs with Chloe for quite a while now, and you know, she's getting more and more into it. And we went to watch the K's in the big tent. Helen and Sophie said, right, we're going to stay safely out in the sort of at the side, so we're not in the crowd very much. I was like, right, well, I'll go with Chloe. And I started walking towards the sort of middle with Chloe. And then next thing I know, she was just away. Like, she just didn't want anything to do with me. So it was basically her saying, I don't need you anymore. And I was sort of keeping my eye on her. And at one point, she was about 10 yards away from us to the left. And then next thing I seen was she was just in a mosh pit. And she just got dragged about 50 yards in the opposite direction. And I never saw her again for the next 3 hours. But she came out at the end. I was like, did you enjoy that? And she'd absolutely loved it. She'd just been in the mosh pit, just bouncing around, being shoved everywhere. Said she nearly lost her shoe, nearly fell over a couple of times. But you could tell she was properly buzzing about her experience. So yeah, she's probably not be interested in going to any more gigs with me. She'll just want to go off and do her own thing and bounce around with the lunatics.
Mint, love stuff like that, Barry. Little rite of passage. It did rain this weekend for the first time in 2025. The Slug Pro RS got an out and bars. It's been away. It's been gathering dust for a little while, but I was out there like a maniac at 1 o'clock in the morning the other day, bashing the shit out of slugs with the Slug Pro RS. Enjoyed that. Right, okay. This is what we're all here for. The one really boring pick on the Europa League conference final, which is on. I'm going to have to load the page up. I bet Harry's well excited for this. I'll put the wrong page up. That's the Champions League. There it is. Wednesday, May the 28th, 8 p.m. kickoff, 3 p.m. Eastern time, between Real Betis and Chelsea. Real Betis in 90 minutes are 7-2 plus 350. The draw is 5-2 plus 250. Chelsea are 4-5 minus 125 to lift the trophy. Betis are 7-4 plus 175, and Chelsea are 2-5 minus 250. Andy's just reminded us there. Rob Lee was at Bob's presentation on Saturday. TV's Pete Graves booked him to come along. He was good crack. None of the kids knew who he was. And then they played a video of people like Lee Clark saying, well done, lads. Well, he just looked like an out-drunk bloke. Like they didn't know who he was. Just looked like everyone else's dad. So the kids were entirely nonplussed by this. But it was a good 20 minutes for the dads. Baz, you lead us off with this. You might have a more interesting pick. Because honestly, my pick's so boring. You need to do something really interesting, Barry.
Well, I've got 3 picks, so that helps.
Oh, have you? I've got one.
I mean, having paid almost zero attention to this competition throughout the season, it was a little bit of a struggle to get excited for it here. But, I mean, the first thing that stands out, I think Real Betis certainly represents the toughest challenge Chelsea have faced in this competition yet. Finished 5th in La Liga, did they? Or was it 5th or 6th? I can't remember. They finished just out of the Champions League spots. Tailed off a little bit towards the end of the season. No win in the last 4. So they've already qualified for the Europa League. So neither of these teams need this trophy to qualify for Europe next season. Chelsea have clinched the Champions League. Betis will be in the Europa League regardless. So a little bit different to the Man United Spurs game last week, where the big prize was less about the trophy, more about the Champions League spot. The standout result for Betis was the semi-final win over Fiorentina, which was decent form. And I would suggest that's probably a tougher tie than anyone Chelsea have faced in this, certainly in the knockouts. Chelsea have looked to have a really straightforward route through this competition. Should be said to have made easy work of everyone. So, they've still had to do what they've had to do, and they've done it comfortably. Never really been in any danger at any point. But it could be here. I've talked Chelsea down a lot recently, and I've mostly been wrong. So you would think I should learn my lesson. They've just won 7 of the last 8 games now. Did lose to Newcastle. But they still haven't been full of goals. The last 3 wins they've had all finished 1-0. Sandwiched in that was the Newcastle loss 2-0. So they've only scored 3 goals in their last 4 games. Betis always score. They haven't failed to score in 20 games. Even in their poor form recently, they're always scoring. 11 in a row for Betis has hit both teams to score. 8 of the 11 went over 2.5 goals. And even in games against big opponents, against Barcelona, Madrid, Atletico, they've been getting on the score sheet every week. Even if they aren't winning the games, they're getting on the score sheet. And if they get a goal here, that might be enough to get a draw, or even better, because Chelsea haven't got tons of goals in them. Well, Betis at 7-2. I can get Betis here on the double chance at bang on even money. That's going to be my main pick here. I could see something like a 1-1 taking this into extra time. So I think it could be low score and it could be tight. That's everything Chelsea have been doing week in, week out. But I'm going to take Betis on the double chance at evens as my main pick. The other pick I like here is Betis to get the first goal of the game, 7-4, so plus 175. They've scored the first goal in each of their last 6 games in this competition. So in the last 3 knockout rounds, in both legs, they've scored first. And in 15 out of 18 games in total in this competition, they've scored the first goal. So 7-4 looks a really good price for that. And if they do get the first goal, then the man I've gone for is Bakambu. At any time, 3-1 anytime goal scorer. He's also 9-1 to get the first or the last goal. Bakambu. He's notched 7 already in the competition, and 6 of them came in the knockout stages. So more recently in this competition, he's getting plenty of goals. So Bakambu anytime at 3-1 and 9-1 first or last.
So, Barry, not only is my pick really boring, it's in direct contradiction with your picks. So it's completely and utterly nullified it. 39 minutes it's taken us to get to this point. Betis' uneventful end of the season kind of happened because they got stuck in 5th. There was a huge old gap up to 4th. There was a huge old gap down to 6th. So they just had fuck all to do. A bit like Sunderland did. Just sort of phoned it in for a little while. They didn't win loads at home. 16 of 38, like less than 50% of the games. 12 draws and 10 defeats. There was just no trends anywhere. Over 2.5, 58%, dead standard. Scoring exactly 1.5 goals per game. Conceded 1.32 goals per game. So there was no strong trends as a starting point for me to try and sort of build a game script or something like that from it. The form in this competition is largely irrelevant because of the run through. And the only form I picked out was the one you picked out, Baz. It was the 4-3 aggregate win over Fiorentina. But before that, it was Jagiellonia, Bielefeld, Guimarães, Ghent, Helsinki. Same with Chelsea, Djurgården, Warsaw, Shamrock Rovers, anything like that. Chelsea finished the season quite strongly. They did what they needed to do for the most part. That 1-0 win against Manchester United, at the time we thought they'd sort of batter them. And they just sneaked past them but you saw that Man United was still kind of competitive right up until the last day. The only defeat, or the only sort of low point Chelsea had, was that defeat at Newcastle, and that they played really well. They were by far the better team in that second half with 10 men, and Newcastle, who were going all guns blazing. That was a decent performance from Chelsea. I was secretly, don't tell anyone, Harry, quite impressed with how Chelsea finished the season. The levels of concentration. To get that 1-0 win at Forest, that's a proper result. Like, they haven't spawned a 4-3 by just cheating and going head-to-head. Like, to lock up a 1-0 win, I thought was fairly impressive. So I've kept this really, really simple. I've been impressed with Chelsea's ability to win when they have to, the ability to keep a clean sheet, defending well as much as Cucurella's at Tate and what have you. Colwell's looking good. I just took Chelsea at 4-5, but 42 minutes for me to take Chelsea to win in 90 minutes at 4-5. That was my play. Dead simple. We got to, luckily, some people have got some better bets in the chat than me. Cucurella, Caicedo, and Enzo is a classic card treble. Joe Dollar fancies that. Enzo Fernandez, 6-4 over 1.5 shots. He's averaging 1.08 shots on target in the Conference League, over 4.5 cards. Harry, our insider, has gone for Chelsea 2-1 and Noni Madueke to get the goal. Anybody else? Bring back battleships, Andy says. So, yeah, a few different angles in there. I love the card angle. And Enzo Fernandez was on my radar, Michael, for that Newcastle game, because he has been playing a little bit further forward. And I watched him that day, and I did say, because I'm not a complete twat, I thought Chelsea had some good players, and you could tell Enzo Fernandez is a good player. That first time I've really watched him closely, so there you go, Baz. That's all of my crack. Have you got anything that you want to tell the people before we let them go?
No more crack. No crack.
Just clearing up that Enzo bet. It's one shot on target. Enzo Fernandez, 6-4 plus 150. That might be the lock of the week. Yeah, from Michael. Like that a lot. Well, good luck, Chelsea. Good luck, Harry. Hope you enjoy it. We will, of course, be cheering on Real Betis at all times. So that's that. We'll be back probably on Thursday night, I would guess, with the Champions League pick show. I promise I'll work a bit harder than I did giving out Chelsea to win. I'll find some more stuff. We build some bets. We'll give out some goal scorers and all that shite. That's it. Thanks, everyone, for listening. Glory, glory, Man United. I'll see you down the road. Cheers. Glory, glory.